Hey pioneers, and welcome back. In our last video, we built a rail to the desert. Then we designed an aluminum factory and started from this desolate, scorching, sandy wasteland. We laid down a few lonely foundations, as if that alone could magically become a factory. Then we placed some towers on them, and after some time, and a lot of work, we ended up with this beautiful, chaotic masterpiece. In today's video, we'll finish what we started and watch as these static machines come to life, dancing to the rhythm of production. Let's get to it. Here we are. What are we missing? We are missing the power connections and connecting the inputs. That should be an easy task, huh? But I'm Nico, and I'm always finding ways of making stuff harder. The thing is that even though this is going to be a whole mega factory, one big factory, I still want to keep the divisions between factories, meaning having them at a separate power grid with their own power storage and everything I do from an electrical point of view. So I was about to start plopping some priority switches, well, one priority switch, but then I thought we are going to have many of these and many priority switches, so we could have them all scattered around or build a badass control room and have them all in the same place. Of course you know me and you know what I'll do, so even though I really am eager to turn this on, let's build us a good control room. So I start by drawing a small circle. Why do I call it a small circle? I will be shifting each tile 3 clicks and be making crosses until I complete the whole loop. Once I'm done with the last one, I will go to the very bottom and use vertical soup to take all of those foundations to the ground level. Once I've done that, I need to remove most of the stuff I have just made. We only want to keep the circle we just achieved. And then use half foundations of coated concrete to make the walls of our control room. Just bear in mind these foundations are asymmetric. I just realized I were plopping them the wrong side, so I had to dismantle a couple and place them the right side. I would continue doing this to the very top, but this showed to be a dangerous process. I might have died once or twice. Until I switched to the hover pack, this thing is safe. When we get to the very top, I will draw a medium circle. Medium because this time I will shift the foundations only 2 clicks, giving us a bigger circle. I will continue drawing these crosses and do the same procedure I did before, giving us this as an end result, a bigger circle. Then to give it a smooth finish, I will use some inverted ramps going to the smaller circle. And so far, this is what we got. Now I will raise all of the floor 3 foundations more. I like having floors that are 4 meters tall. It helps with the stairs and it will give us a gap to do some electricity logistics. Once that is done, time to place some windows. As usual, I only use 2 types of windows, the only ones that exist in this game. And as we have a 4-meter floor, I will add a 4-meter wall to give some sort of symmetry. After that, we will be placing some tilted walls to give it a pointy finish. Let me get back to the hover pack. There we go. So I will only be using 3 tiles wide. And that's how it's looking so far. I don't know, it looks kind of good. We still have to decorate. And after some time decorating, this is how it's looking. I added a radar tower on the top and some windows and beams on the sides. Pretty much what I did on my main base right over there. Now if we get inside, this is how it looks like. We have a stair going all over the sides, a main column to support everything, and some lights on the sides. Still haven't connected the hypertube, so we need to get to the top doing some exercise. And this is how it looks like. We have a main structure to support the radar tower, some stairs on the sides to get there. I don't know why I would want to get there, but at least I can. And well, here we will have all of the switches, and we will also be able to see our whole Megafactory. So now I will be adding one priority switch and connecting everything to the power grid. Power connections are done. Every single machine is in yellow, starving for materials. I decided to handle most of my power grid through the columns that sustain my rail. I will call it rail until someone tells me a better name for it. And I did this via a simple yet useful blueprint. Here we can see it. It's just one pillar with a lot of outlets. And they are already connected, so that saves a lot of time. It's still a little bit confusing because, for example, that one is connected to that one, that is connected to... wow, it's hard to point. To that one and to that one. So for example, here is on the right side, here it's on the left, here it's on the left, and here is on the right. So yeah, you have to pay attention, but it works and saves time. Now, why are we seeing 3 wires? One is my world power grid, the second is the hypertube network, and the third one is the power for this factory. Why am I using Jetpack? We don't know. Over here I created this thing to be able to take the connections to my control room and still continue going through the rail. The same 3 connections I talked about before. And I did some decoration on the top of my control room. I added one computer every now and then, and the idea is placing the priority switches facing the factory that you will be turning on. So I have space for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, 8 more, and I could even add more if I just place 2 of them between the computers. On the middle, we have a switch for the radar tower and a light control panel, because if we do some magic and we make it night, I place some lights over here. And I use a really advanced trigonometry so that you get light on your working place, but not on the monitors, so there's no glare. Nothing of that was by chance, everything was calculated because over here we like doing stuff the right way. Now, we are almost ready to start everything up, we just need to connect the inputs. And let's focus on this one, that's the one that's going to require a little bit more work, because we need the water extractors and the packagers. This whole factory I made, it's not aligned to the world grid. It's aligned to Nico's grid. What are the advantages of aligning it to your own grid? None. What are all of the disadvantages? Well, there are a lot, a whole list, so I won't even mention them. So in order to be sure that in the future we can connect all of this remaining space, I will be simply translating one of these foundations so that I assure that we are still on the grid. Let's go! That was easier than expected. We need 240 water, and each one of these by default give us 120, and each packager by default packages 60. So it's a clean 1-to-2 connection, and we are done. It's currently working because I need packaged water to initialize the system, so this is not going to the factory. I placed a container over there, so I'm just getting some packaged water. Oh, we could actually initialize it right now. Yeah, let's do that. So this is where I'm sending the water. Let's just... oh, I don't have that much. But well, let's see how it goes. We grab those and we will take it to our container over here, so that the system already starts pressurized and we don't have to worry about this. There we have all of the packaged water being distributed, and it will be unpackaged and taken to those refineries, well, those refineries over there. And after a short time, all of the system is ready to begin. We can see that the internal buffers of our refineries are full, and these feedback loops are also full. And I even got a lot of water over this pipe that I don't know how good that will, but I don't think it will bring any issues. And I think that none of them, well, they have a little bit of water in the internal buffer. What could happen is that as all of this is filled, at the beginning these blenders won't be able to deliver its byproduct, so they won't be working at full efficiency. But if that happens, it means that we will be using water from here, and this will start draining. As we are generating exactly the same amount that we are consuming, if one of these stop, it means that we will end up draining the extra water. And after some time, it should balance. Or if not, I could always delete these pipes, but I don't want to. I want to leave it prepared for, I don't know, if I have to use it ever again. I don't think so. The water won't go anywhere. It's just doing a loop. So everything is set. Now we just need to connect the other inputs. Let's check on the map where they are coming from. So we need 2 limestone nodes. We will be taking this. Then we need, I think, that 1 coal node. I will be taking some of this. Then the sulfur will be taking from here. And then it gets trickier. There's no much quartz over here, and we need a pure node. But we have one right here next to the swamp. So I guess I could extend the rail a little bit and connect myself from here. And then bauxite. What's the deal with bauxite? Why there's no bauxite in this game? But I found one, and we needed 1 pure node. And we have one right here next to our rail. So I will be doing a really long trip with bauxite. Connect it here and take it all the way back to the desert. Which is kind of annoying because I will connect it with an MK4 belt, and once everything is working, I will need to go back and upgrade that belt to an MK5 once I have enough aluminum to do so. So I will be doing that twice. But well, stuff that happens. So I will now connect everything, and on the next clip we will hopefully see the factory running. And it's alive! We are seeing movement all over the place. Is there something more beautiful than turning on a factory and seeing do stuff. Anyway, there's absolutely no way of knowing if everything is working well, because this factory was designed for MK5 belts and it has MK4. So now I will just give it some time until we hoard some of those clad aluminum sheets, and I will upgrade the input belts. And then yes, we should have everything working at 100%. But overall we can see that it seems to be doing what it's supposed to. So I will now upgrade the belts and do all of the decoration, so on the next clip you should be able to see the final result. We are done, and everything is working at 100%. I thought that I only had to upgrade one belt, but there were several. I had to upgrade some of them inside the blueprints, mainly the first one and the last ones, so it took a little bit longer than expected. But the thing is that the design is good and there were no mistakes. These are our final results. I think that the outputs are pretty decent. I still don't know how much I need of each one of them because I'm new at this, but it's a good starting point. What was a little bit sad is the consumption, 1.5 gigawatts. I was expecting a lower number. We are kind of close to the limit. But well, I know that I have to build a power plant, and I can still maybe squeeze a couple of factories before that moment. Because I don't want to repeat turbo fuel, I need to get either rocket fuel or nuclear. Nuclear would be ideal. So let's talk a little bit about the decorations. On all of the edges I place a beam and some railings to give a little bit of depth. I think it's a stylized look. Here on the top I added some of the power storage. Most of it is on the logistics levels, but well, I had some space over here, so I had to add something. We can see a weird lookout tower supported by some foundations. And regarding the blueprints, I decorated them mostly by beams. We have one that goes directly on the edges, and you have a separation from where you're supposed to walk and where the technicians are supposed to be when the machines break down. And we have another layer on the sides to support all of these catwalks that go around the blueprint. Absolutely everything in this factory is connected by catwalks, so if you want to play The Floor is Lava, it won't be fun because it's really easy to avoid it. Then what else do we have? All of these belts I made a little box to protect them so that you don't get your hand stuck on a lift. That would be nasty. Then let's see what else new do we have. I added some windows to be able to see the logistics levels where there are some of them. Then each module, as usual, I made a summary where we can see the inputs right there, the outputs, and where the output is going. Right now all of this silica is being sunk because I'm not using it, but in the future I will have 410 available. As a reminder, these letters I'm adding, B means balanced, so this module is receiving exactly the materials it needs. So we can see that the belts are not saturated, and if we check an internal buffer, we will see that it's mostly empty. If this number starts increasing, it means that there's something off. These ones, on the other hand, I think they are prioritized. Yes, they are. So we can see that's a different story. All of the belts are saturated and the internal buffers are full. Some signs everywhere to identify which segment of the Megafactory is this one. And well, let's continue. At the end, this feedback loop worked perfectly. I had no fluid dynamic errors. The flow is not constant, but it works. It never stopped. It's at 100%. And this is all recycled water, meaning there's no water input for this refinery. The byproduct of the blender is feeding the refinery. So it's a closed loop. and it worked like a charm. I'm really happy of that. Then some decorative belts. I didn't place as much as I used to, but we have some. Easy way to know what we are doing here. From sulfur and water, we are doing sulfuric acid. Then we get to our blenders. I try to do as much lights as I can with signs, but there are also powered lights. We will check those in action later on. Now, do we have something new over here? I think not. Maybe some decorative belts. Those are decorative belts. Another weird lookout tower. More belts. I don't remember if I mentioned this little roof on the last clip, but yeah, I protected the outputs from the rain and placed some golden pillars. I think it gives it a polished finish. Then we have the other blueprint that's also connected through catwalks. Some cute windows to see underneath. And well, in this case, the input, I made the box higher and you can walk around it. I like how it looks. So what else do we have? I'm probably forgetting some stuff, but there's no need to show everything. Of course, this will be in my repo, so you can tour it yourself. On this example, we can see that the silica is balanced and the aluminum crap is prioritized. So if we go and check one of these, we'll see that this one is full and this one is almost empty, but still working at 100%. Now we can do a quick tour through the logistics floors. Nothing really special, and that's not the color it's supposed to be. I did add some metal pillars with signs every now and then, again to give more depth to the walls. I did some fancy shenanigans on the corridors. These are billboards that are turned off, and it looks amazing. I had never done this before, and I will probably be doing it a lot. So this is another of the tiny logistics rooms. Another corridor with a different style, but the same idea. Billboards that are turned off, and you have to set them to glossy, because if this is matte, it's awful. Here there's our tiny office. I just added some pillars and some signs. And we get to the last logistics floor. This one seems kind of dull, but I couldn't think of anything cool to add in the middle. Well, I could add more power storage. I don't know. Now, I did modify a little bit the roof of our control tower because it looked kind of dull, like a huge cone. So let's check that one out. I used two different type of roofs. We have 4 meters and 8 meters. It used to look like a cone, now it looks like a hat. But I think it's way better, the result. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's check how it looks at night. I didn't place that many lights, but there are some. Mainly on these pillars, illuminating whatever is in front of them. But I also added some floodlights, for example here, to illuminate these assemblers. So overall, you don't need to be afraid walking here at night, because the streets have lights. Now let's check. There's not much in it, but we could check the other segment that's separated from this factory. Again, same style of decoration. We can see the beams with the railings. There should be, there's the sign explaining what this module does, and a flat light. Maybe it's not perfectly pointed. It should point a little bit higher. I do not like these lines, but I think that there's a console command that can remove them. So I should investigate that. And well, this is all I had for today. To draw some conclusions, well, let's start with aluminum. I loved the complexity about it. Having more byproducts, having to think more to get to an efficient factory. And I think it might be one of the ones I've made that has the most amount of different inputs. We have 7 right here. And I love that sort of challenge. Up to here, they were pretty basic overall. Then regarding the building technique, doing open factories, oh, it was amazing. Not only I think it was really fun, it was way faster. I usually spend 3 times the amount of time decorating than building the factory itself. And here I think it was the same. If I spent 10 hours building, I spent maybe 10 or 8 hours decorating. So it's just really good for me, and I'm glad that I went this way, even though it was completely new for me. I think it looks amazing. Still, it's too early to tell if I'm achieving what I was going for, because this is too small. We need to see how it will look like when this type of density is extending all the way to the horizon. But I think it's a pretty good starting point. I'm really glad with the result. It might get tricky in the future. This rail, it's already quite populated. We have too many belts, so I might have to think a way around that. I will eventually do trains. Won't be bringing everything through belts. But still, this traffic over here is mostly internal traffic. And we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 belts. But well, we'll see how it goes as we progress through the game. I hope you guys liked this video. If you enjoyed this, please remember to leave a thumbs up or leave a comment. It really helps growing the channel. Even if you don't know what to comment, just say hi or tell me, what are we discussing today? Do you prefer winter or summer? I think that most people prefer summer, but there might be exceptions. I myself, prefer summer, going to the beaches, being able to go outside. The most annoying thing for me of winter is, well, you have to go out with a jacket, but then you get in the transport, into public transport, it's extremely hot, you need to remove the jacket. But then you get outside, you need to put on the jacket again, and too much time and effort. I'd rather spend that time doing factories. But tell me, what about you? Hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you on the next one.